Greetings one and all, my name is Lancer and welcome back once again to Fate Zero. We'll be watching episode 24, and last time on, the last charge of Iskandar. He made Waver his last retainer, telling him to bear witness to this charge, and charge he did, with his reality marble destroyed, but he still charged headlong into his ideal, and was stopped by Gilgamesh, who showed him the ultimate respect, both in life and in death, and to Waver as well. But now, speaking of respect, Kiritsugu makes his way towards his destiny, that being Kirei Kotomine. The destined clash that has been 23 episodes in the making, and is one of my favorite fights in anime history, we're about to witness once again. Let's get right into the episode. Yep. The fucking Dark Knight room. Oh, man. After all this, they finally see each other. No words need to be said. This is probably going to be the longest episode ever because of what we are going to discuss. But that right there. Kiritsugu has seen Kirei, like he has pictures of him and whatnot, so like he knows it's him. But Kirei's never seen Kiritsugu. It's one of those cases where it's just like, he knows. They both know. They don't need to say a word to each other. We're fighting. We're scrapping. It's always interesting to me though that Kiritsugu chooses to go in. He's always been a ranged fighter. He knows that he can't do hand to hand as well as others. Especially not against Kirei. But I think he's banking just on this first origin round shot, which he banks on a couple of those. Let's do it, baby. First, though, this other fight that's happening. Ah, Karia. And sure, Saber's holding back. Let's be fair. I mean, she's caught off guard 'cause it's like, it's her friend, her old ally. But it's like, in most cases, she would win this fight. She's emotionally shocked right now.
Did you hate me so much that you became this?
Ah! One bullet. Normally it would work.
They cause the target's mana to go out of control.
Yeah.
What? Time alter.
He has time alter though.
Double Excel.
Oh, so cool. In most cases that would have worked. Which makes me wonder if Kirei knew about the origin rounds. I mean, he had to an extent because he uses his command seals to channel the mana so he doesn't get destroyed. I guess he might have had an assassin watching when him and Kenneth were fighting. It might be like a delayed thing, like if he sees what bullet connects. Because I mean, there's Kiritsugu's own magic and origin within the round. So like if he could sense that it's a magic round and he can channel it in time. I feel like Kiritsugu in this moment kind of accepted that he probably wouldn't win, but he has his own ace up his sleeve. He's nimble though. You see that one-handed flip he did?
The origin rounds aren't working. No, he's using command seals as his mana source.
I love that it's all just internal
By the
dialogue.
time the round strikes and takes effect, the command seal mana source has already vanished. Since he doesn't use his own magic circuits for attacks, the origin round's magic won't work. But if I can land a solid hit, it'll still be strong enough to kill him.
Yeah, you just shoot him in the head.
Now that I know you're moving at double speed, I simply need to adjust the distance to compensate for it.
He's so quick.
He's fast.
So strong too, like... Like, without Avalon, Kiritsugu's dead there, which would have been so anticlimactic. I mean, you do kind of forget, because you never see him, like, take in Avalon, but, I mean, to be fair, it was a couple episodes ago, so... Thankfully, Saber's just close enough for it. Fucking Kirei, dude. He's just an absolute unit. Like, what Inquisitor training was that? Where you can air punch and explode people's organs? I guess that could also be a part of, like, mage training, you know, because we see that in a lot of other stuff where they use, you know, mana to enhance their physical capabilities, but Kirei's just... he's a fucking beast. 9 times out of 10, Kiritsugu loses this fight, but thankfully for him, this is that 1 out of 10.
The depth of your violent madness.
She's finally locking in.
Is that my fault as well?
Her time has arrived. And there it is. Even though there's still 3 servants left. Not only did he explode his heart, he fucking whiplashed him against the wall. It's not over.
Time alter. Double Excel.
Just enough to get up on his feet. I love this detail. It's a subtle thing, because like when he fights Kaneth and he uses Time Alter, Kaneth is like grayed out like the background. But here it shows that like Kirei's default speed is Kiritsugu's double speed, which just again speaks to Kirei's strength. It's only once he does triple and then quad excel that he's actually able to surpass him. He has to slow him down. Not a normal bullet. Like, do you know how fast he fucking moved? That's like beyond Dragon Ball time. He went to hit the bullet, it hit him, he realized it's not a normal bullet that he could deflect. The pain registered, and he still moved fast enough to eject the bullet out of his elbow. Which, how the fuck did that happen? I can only imagine it went in and went all the way up his arm and then out. Which I feel like it would have been better if he just like held his hand off to the side and just had it shoot out. I guess he couldn't risk it getting stuck inside of him, because if he does, then well, his magic circuits are fucked. But then again, so is his arm. But that's even with one arm. This is the best outcome Kiritsugu could hope for.
I'm at a massive disadvantage at close range.
Yeah.
I've lost my Calico, Avalon.
That's what's saving your ass in this moment, which is actually very poetic because of how Kiritsugu just rid off Saber and doesn't even acknowledge her throughout the course of the show, but yet it's her power that saves him in the end. Without it, he would have been dead and it would have been done. He would have been dead, would have been over, no Fate Stay Night for anybody, and no world either, because the Grail would have birthed itself.
He has healing ability that allows him to instantly regenerate a demolished heart. Then I'll have to destroy the brain.
I'll have to punch his brain.
I have a knife I can use, and 2 grenades left.
He never uses his grenades.
12 blades remaining, and 8 spare command seals.
Can he use his command seals, though? If his arm's disabled? I love this moment, just them taking stock of everything they still have. I forgot he has grenades. He doesn't use them. Honestly, a grenade would be bad, because Kirei would fucking hide in the smoke. This fight could have been twice as long, and I would have loved every second of it, but I think it works just because, like, it's just long enough and just short enough to where it's like, yep, that was perfect for how much was set up between these characters.
Time Alter. Triple Excel.
Triple Excel. Putting a lot of strain on his body, though. I mean, he said just like the contender needs reloading. Figured you would have used it to reload it in that moment. Again, that shows the speed. He has to go to triple Excel in order to go beyond Kirei's speed, but he pushes it even farther. My cup runneth over. Has a blade of his own, but he's not good with hand-to-hand. Shit.
Time Alter. Square Excel.
Square. And the leg, goddamn. The blades or the gun, who wins? Sadly, we'll never know. Just one of the best fights in all of anime. Can we just agree? For me, at least, it is. It's the culmination of this whole show. I mean, it's also the final fight. It's so fitting that, like, you know, the Grail War, it's meant to be like this battle between servants and ultimately deciding who wins. But in my opinion, the best fight is between these two masters. Just because we've had, like, the intellectual cat and mouse fight between them this whole show. Kirei gaining everything and realizing his ideal, and Kiritsugu losing everything all for what he thinks his ideal, his dream is, and them finally meeting on this battlefield, or in this parking garage. Had the Grail not exploded in that moment, it's hard to know what would have happened first. Would Kiritsugu have shot him, or would he have gotten stabbed by the blades? Who's to say? Maybe if that didn't happen, it would just ended with a draw. Every part of it, just from a technical standpoint as well, like, it's only like 5-ish minutes of a fight. At the very least, it's my favorite Fate fight. It's up there with one of my favorite fights of all time. Like, and they don't even say a word to each other. And honestly, Kiritsugu kicks Kirei's ass. Of course, a lot of that is because of the Time Alter, but I mean, that's his skill. He's using the tools at his ability. Kind of renders him a little blind, takes out his right arm, stabs his leg, but even still, Kirei keeps going. If the fight was drawn out any longer, Kiritsugu most likely would have lost, just because, I mean, the Time Alter puts a strain on his body. It's killing him. But Fate was on his side in this battle, but not on Karia's, sadly. So did he die there? I mean, he might as well have. I know that it technically isn't until later, but I like to think it was more of a case of he died there and then his body was just fed to the worms, and everything we see after this is just his last dreams.
But even so, I will win the Grail. If I do not, there will be nothing I can do to atone to you.
Is it even worth it at this point?
Even after all that has happened, you would still take up your sword
For a reason such as that?
Finally speaks normally.
What a difficult person you are.
Goodbye, my friend. We'll hear more from you in a little bit. I'm not even mentally prepared to delve into this scene again, but at the same time I am, because it is the culmination of Kiritsugu's entire life and what firmly cemented him as my favorite character. So I'm just gonna take some breaths, prepare for probably like a 30-minute video essay. Let's get right to it. Back on the island. I talked about before, this show does such a good job at like doing before and after shots. I mean, this isn't technically an after shot, but just so many of these shots that we've seen before. That shot of the beach, that there when they were jumping in the water.
I had faith that you would be the one to reach this place.
Irie.
This is where the wish you have lived
not
for will
Irie.
be granted. We are inside the Grail that you have been seeking. That is the Holy Grail. It has yet to take form. But the vessel itself is more than filled. All you need do now is offer it your prayer. Only
Filled with
then
what
will it
exactly?
be able to go out into the physical world. You have proven yourself more than worthy to define its existence.
It's so like perverse that it speaks through Irie, because it just makes you realize that the Grail has been with us since the start, you know, with Irie, and and it makes you realize just like Irie, she was so sweet, so nice, so innocent as well. But this is who she truly is on the inside. Just the fact that it speaks through her. It's like the last temptation. The Grail's trying to make it as easy for him as possible to make this wish. Sadly, the Irie we knew is gone. She died when Kirei snapped her neck. But one could argue that that Irie never existed at all.
Who are you? Really?
I am Irisfiel, as you see.
No. If the Grail is prepared to receive a wish, then she is already... Answer me!
At least he did get to say goodbye to her.
True. I will not deny that this is no more than a mask.
Surprised he has his gun in here.
Unless I use a pre-existing personality as a shell, I cannot communicate with others. The personality of Irisfield that I recorded is undeniably the real thing.
Are you the will of the Holy Grail?
I am.
I love the black
I
rain.
have my own will and my own wish. I have the will to be born into the world.
If that's the case, then how does the Grail intend to totally fulfill my wish?
That is something that you should know far better than anyone else could possibly know. You learned exactly how to save the world a long, long time ago.
What are you talking about?
The only way is to have you go and explore that same question through your inner self.
It's so creepy. Like, there's no music either. And it's just like going to all these familiar set pieces with him that he's been. Take a shot every time I've said it in this show, but I think that this is my favorite scene, possibly in all of anime. It is one of top 3 at the very, very least. Fate Zero does such a good job at giving you the ideals and wants of these characters so early on, and also does a good job of showing that they've realized their true self already. They've been doing the work to realize their dreams their whole lives, and they think that this Grail will be the shortcut for them to do the harder work and just get it done. But as the Grail has said here, you learned how to save the world a long time ago. My naive 18-year-old self watching this for the first time, sitting on my bed in a dimly lit room, staring at my laptop, watching this, I was a changed man.
300 are on one ship, 200 on another.
I love that's his voice.
What the...
But it's just different
500
enough.
total passengers and crew, plus Kiritsugu Emiya. Let's assume that these 501 people are humanity's last survivors. Giant holes simultaneously open up in both ships, crippling them. Kiritsugu alone has the skills needed to repair a ship. Which one of the ships would you choose to fix?
Simple. The one holding 300 people.
Simple, without a second thought, needs the many. Episode 19, I think, was my favorite voice acting from Matt Mercer as Kiritsugu. This truly is the episode. 90% of the lines spoken in this episode are him. 500 passengers and crew. How is Kiritsugu the only one who can do this? What's the point of the crew? I reject this binary choice.
The 200 passengers on the other ship kidnap you and take you prisoner. What will you do?
I would...
Oh, he would, alright.
You would kill all 200 passengers. That is correct. That is the Kiritsugu Emiya we know.
He's shaking and he's scared, but it's like, that's what he's been doing his whole life. That's what the Grail's trying to point out. Which, when I break it down, this scene is a bit weird that the Grail is doing this. You figured the Grail would just be like, oh yeah, that's your wish, done and done. All right, destroy the world. But it's weird that it's pointing out the flaw in his wish to him. You figured it would just grant it. But I guess that's the point of the Grail, though. It's like, it's not going to grant your wish. It's just going to show you that your wish already has been granted, or that how you yourself can. I would like to see some, maybe either one-shot stuff made showing what each person in this Grail War would have seen had they gotten to this point. What would Kirei have seen had he been the one to be face to face with the Grail? I feel like it would have shown him something similar. Show me what my heart truly desires, and it would have just shown him the pain and suffering he's been causing his whole life. You've already discovered what your true desire is. Now help me achieve mine. Like, the Grail is sort of shooting itself in the foot here, just showing Kiritsugu just like, yeah, you've been granting your own wish your whole life. Needs of the many, needs of the few. Plus, also, if you want to rid the world of war, you gotta rid the world of humans. Gotta Evangelion it and just start over. But the Grail has its wish, which it talked about with him on the beach just now. This also reminds me of Death Stranding. The beach with like the black rain, like the tar, and just like this ethereal creature talking to you about your true desires. Mario and Princess Beach.
The surviving 300 passengers abandoned their damaged craft. They split themselves between two new ships and continue their journey. There are 200 on one and 100 on the other. Holes open in the hulls of both ships at exactly the same time.
Wait.
The 100 in the smaller ship take you prisoner, and like the others, demand that you fix their ship first. Now what will you do?
You already know, but you...
That sounds familiar, yep. Motherfucker, dude. That's so good, because like in episode, what, 7, when Kiritsugu blows up the hotel, it's that same shot that we see where he's standing alone in this parking lot, and, you know, just like that ringing sound as it explodes. But this time, it's subtle work. There's so much of this in that where it's just like taking him back to these places, and just like, if you know the show up till now, I've been paying attention, it's just these details hit so much, just showing that like this wish he desires, again, he's been doing it his whole life. He's been making that choice, that binary choice. He just hasn't realized it. And he also hasn't realized what his wish would mean if it was granted.
Yes, you made the right decision. No! How can that be the right decision? 200 survived, but 300 died so they could live. The scales are tipped the wrong way! No, you made a choice to sacrifice the few to save the many. You have consistently chosen to kill those on the lighter side of the scales, even if it meant leaving a long trail of bodies behind you in your wake. If it saved lives, the lives of the saved must have been worth more than those you destroyed.
And there it is. Heroes view some acts of justice good and others evil. It all depends on how you tip the scale, or what you shift to what side. Though Kiritsugu's always talked about what he's doing is for the greater good. In his own way, he's been playing God this whole time, which is what the Grail and also himself is sort of pointing out. Just, you've played arbiter, judge, executioner to those you view on the other side of the scale. So to remove war from the world, to remove something like this, at the very least, it would put half of humanity on one side, half on the other. Where's your sense of right versus wrong, needs of the many, needs of the few then? It's so well done. It's one of those cases though where someone could look at this and be like, should you not have realized this a long time ago? It's so different. Look at your own life. Think of anything you've maybe worked towards, and once you finally reap the rewards from it, or maybe even realize what the rewards may be, do you always feel fulfilled? Do you always feel like it's worth it? Do you not even realize at the end that you maybe hurt people along the way to get what you wanted? And it wasn't until you looked back and maybe even not even reaped the rewards from it that you realized maybe I was wrong. When you boil it down, it's kind of a live and learn lesson, which is putting it on such a simplistic level, but it is one of those cases where it's just, do the ends justify the means? But even more than that, do the ends or the means justify your actions? understands in any capacity. Though I've said just like Kiritsugu's doing what he views as for the greater good, I would hope that at least I haven't said that he's justified in it. Though I understand why and have sympathy for him, he is hypocritical in that sense where he wants to remove this suffering and hate from the world, but also he himself is kind of an arbiter of that same killing intent and war that he is trying to stop. He probably never knew the inner toils and situations of all those he assassinated. He just saw it as a job and just probably saw the first thing as either, oh, they're a mage, or they killed somebody, or they did something wrong, and that's where he judged them. Which goes back to the Grail War itself. He never allowed any masters to escape. He always took them out the very chance he got. Someone who commits evil will always do it again if they escape. To hear this all in his own voice, it's probably the voice that he's been hearing his whole life, but now he's actually hearing it.
This is what you wanted to show me?
Yes. This is your truth, the answer that lies within Kiritsugu Emiya. The course of action that should be taken by the Grail as an all-powerful wish granter.
No, this is not what I want. I want there to be another way to save the world. That's why I believed that a miracle was my only hope.
Your wish cannot include a method you yourself don't already know. If your wish is to save the world, it must be done in a manner that you can fully comprehend.
Like how? How in the hell can you call that a miracle?
But it is. The deed you tried so hard to accomplish and failed to do on your own can be accomplished on a scale beyond the power of any man. If that is not a miracle, what is?
To be fair, it is man itself that calls the Grail a miracle wish granter. It's not fully saying that his wish is impossible to grant, it's just, it can't be granted in the manner that he thinks it can. Because to be fair, what did Kiritsugu think would be the result of that wish? Please remove all war and suffering from the world. Okay, what does that look like? At the very least, what? Remove all weapons? Remove all concept of war or anything from the human psyche? That's where it would be a miracle. That's honestly where I do kind of agree with the Grail in that sense, where you can't ask for a wish that you yourself can't think of how it can be granted. If what you're truly asking for is that, the removal of the idea of war and the hell that he fears, that would mean rewriting humanity itself. Again, Kirei pointed it out almost immediately upon hearing Kiritsugu's wish a few episodes ago. Conflict is intrinsic to humanity. Funnily enough, this is a very fitting and topical show to watch in the current climate. I would like to assume that most people, most sane people, like to avoid war as much as possible. Avoid that suffering and death, because no one deserves to die, no one deserves to suffer. But despite that, inside every human is the possibility for destruction. Inside every human is those capabilities, the ability to destroy, to wage war on massive scales. I mean, look at the many wars that we've had in our human history and how a lot of it can be traced back to one man, or even just the actions of a select few amount of people, and how a lot of that rewrote the history of the world itself. So Kiritsugu, for this wish, what he's asking for is to play God, to rewrite humanity itself, which I believe is a power that's beyond the Grail, which, to be fair, is not what the Grail wants anyway. The Grail wants itself to be born into the world and, well, consume humanity. So in its own Evangelion-style way, Kiritsugu could be like Shinji, which, funnily enough, is kind of like the Eva rebuilds with how this ends, where he goes against it all and destroys it. But he could also be like End of Eva Shinji, where he just kind of embraces it and just watches it all burn. It's a shame that he realizes this too late. Speaking of which...
Father. Natalia.
This fucking
Kiritsugu
song
Emiya,
again.
You truly are Angra Manyu, the one worthy to bear all the evil in the world.
I forgot about that plot point. I forgot about the whole Angra Manyu bullshit. This is where we're delving back into other Fate shit, which I don't give a fuck about. I'm here to discuss philosophy and character ideals. But I mean, there is that, where Kiritsugu is kind of trying to be like Jesus in this sense, where I'm sure a part of his wish entails that he would take all the suffering and war of humanity onto himself and then maybe die. But Angra Manyu in this sense is not that. It's like the opposite. It's like Satan.
Now, the final question. 3 remain.
Needs of the many.
Will you save 2 or choose 1?
That just... Why do you have to do that to Maya, man? She's already gone. As fucked up as it is, I feel like I would have chosen Irie just because, I mean, Irie's gonna die anyway. The fact that he's still making choices at this point.
Welcome home, Daddy!
Oh, god damn it.
So happy that you're finally back!
This again. It ends as it began.
This is all the Holy Grail, granting your heart's fervent prayer.
Always has been.
All you need do now is to wish for it. To bring back your wife. To take back your daughter.
One of these is still alive.
I'll be happy just as long as you and Mother are with me from now on.
Daddy loves you. My precious Elia. If nothing else, I swear that's true. Goodbye, Elia.
It's fucked up, but like I've seen some funny like memes with that. People have posted that clip out of context. I love going to the comments of stuff like that, and it's just like, what the fuck is this show? I always respond just like, show's called Fate Zero. Watch at your own peril. I hate the comments that tell you it's just like, this is a dream. It's not actually real. It's just like, that's spoilers. Though it's not actually happening, it's still like, that's what he's been resolved to. He's discarding both of them because, you know, it's like he made that choice, you know, save one or save two, and he saved both. But now he's making the ultimate choice, save two, save 6 billion.
Why? Why would you do this? My love, you killed our Elia!
You're getting choked again.
Why do you refuse us and the Grail?
6 billion people on the earth.
I curse you. Kiritsugu, Emiya.
Versus you two.
Hunger on you curses you.
That's why I have to kill you.
I will
And I will save the world.
never forgive.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes in all of anime. Possibly my favorite. I don't know anymore. Oh, man. Definitely my favorite in all of Fate. God. Kiritsugu's thing, man. I want to be a hero. And well, in the most twisted, fucked up way possible, he was, in this moment, a hero. 6 billion people on the earth, or you two. I'll save the world. Literally covered in the blood of his own child. Metaphorically, of course. The emotions are still felt, though, like, more than just brutally shooting off the head of his own daughter and choking his wife. Him crying, just like, I'll save the world. It's still that needs of the many, needs of the few idea, but it's like the last time he makes it, really. This is the death of his ideology right here. I feel like this adds to Kiritsugu's inevitable death, you know, the Grail cursing, because there's so many things with Fate's Day Night, because Kiritsugu dies, like, just, what, like a couple years before that starts? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that it's like he could have died from this, or this. Like, I've had so many theories. Like, he's a chronic smoker. Could have just been a physical health decline. And plus, his will to live is shaky at this point. I always kind of thought of it as the time altar as well. He pushed it so far in this fight with Kirei that it ate up his actual time left alive. And then also this, the Grail cursing him. I feel like it was a culmination maybe of all three of those things, where ultimately he only had like a couple years after this at this point to live. There's different versions of like Face Day. I talk about like Kirei being the one that killed him. It's just like, no, that's stupid. Listen, I know there's so much talk with Fate Zero as an adaptation in an anime and as a prequel to Fate's Day Night, how it does disservices to the story of Fate's Day Night, has such character contradictions and lore breaking stuff. The amount of fucks I give are not even feasible, because this is character writing church as far as I'm concerned. This transcends anime. This transcends media. This is life. Kiritsugu had done it. He achieved his goal. As far as he was concerned, war is over. He's won. But what he did not account for is the fact that, well, one, the Grail has a will of its own, and two, the fact that his wish is one he's been granting his whole life. It's also a wish that truly can never be granted. It's impossible. Not with what humans are and what they can be. And it's this final heart-wrenching moment that he rejects all of it. Everything he spent these last 10 years preparing for this war, and then his whole life before that, now to see here at the end that his wish would bring the destruction of humanity at the hands of this miracle wish granter. And it speaks so much to that. That's some of my favorite stuff as well, is like characters who spend their whole life maybe chasing a dream, and then at the end of it, when they're so close for all their work to finally pay off, they realize the truth of it. They realize what it would mean, and they basically throw away all those years of life and the sacrifices they've done for what is truly right. If it wasn't already cemented by this point, this final scene has made Kiritsugu Emiya my favorite character in all of anime. But there is one final act that he will commit, because this episode still isn't over. Speaking of ideals and reaching the end. Hello, Kirei. Such a cool shot.
What a boring conclusion to this fight.
Now they can finally talk.
Why did you refuse it?
You were able to see all that.
I thought you sacrificed everything.
I was
you had,
consumed by it
including your
too.
Family, in order to make it to this point. How can you simply deny the worth of something you work so hard to attain?
The tremendous toll it demands is far greater than anything it can offer. That thing is no omnipotent wish granter.
Then give the damn thing to me! You may not think you need it.
No.
But I most certainly do. If it is given the life it is seeking, then it can surely answer my every doubt. And finally bring everything into clarity. The Grail longs for a life of its own! Longs for its own birth! Please, don't kill it. It's...
I love these sharp cuts to black. I love that that's the most they ever physically interact with each other, and like the most they talk. And it's just from that, it's just both sides. Kirei, this whole show, has been trying to understand Kiritsugu, and now that he saw firsthand, like, Kirei was watching all that, in the end he'll never understand Kiritsugu, which is fitting now coming from his own voice, just like, you'll never understand. Obviously, Fate Stay Night needed it to happen that Kirei lived through this, but when I watched this for the first time, I was fully just like, I mean, yeah, that seemed like a fitting end for Kirei. Like, it was quick, but I actually liked it. If Kirei fully died there, I would have been fine. I've been like, you know what, that's fitting. I mean, to be fair, him living past this also was fitting too, even though obviously it's supposed to happen. Still not over. There's still 2 servants left, just in case we forgot what this war was about.
You're late, Saber. I realize you were enjoying yourself with your old mad dog, but it is imprudent to the extreme to keep me waiting like you did.
The last servant confrontation.
Look at that delightful expression, like that of a ravenous wild dog.
Just like Berserker.
The Holy Grail belongs to me!
This was a destined clash as well.
It is when you are delusional and crawling in the dirt that you are at your most beautiful. Lay down your blade and be my wife. A grail that grants miracles? Where is the sense in totally obsessing over something so dubious?
Literally right behind him. Doesn't give a fuck.
I swear as king of all creation that I shall give you every pleasure the world has to offer.
I only seek one pleasure.
Steal the Holy Grail from me? For such utter nonsense?
I was not asking for your opinion. I am informing you of my decision.
It wasn't an offer.
I would never...
You may answer wrongly as many times as you like. If you would learn the joy of serving me, you must first learn the exquisite pain of it as well.
Speaking of pain.
And by my command seal,
Give me the Holy Grail.
destroy the Grail.
Destroy it.
By my 3rd command seal, I order you again.
Doubling down. Because she has that magic resistance.
You of all people! Why this?
The Holy Grail.
The last command seal. I have to do it every time. Cinema. It is cinema. Well, that was episode 24 of Fate Zero. I mean, I can see the ultimate stitch of this and then the last episode, just because, I mean, we immediately pick up with that scene. I don't know why I always question every time I rewatch this show. Just like, is episode 24 actually my favorite episode? Let the video length speak for itself. Like this at the end, like, you know, Saber and Gilgamesh and just their thing. It's just like, oh yeah, the servants, of course. Like I've said, I have like my favorite characters in this show, which honestly, a lot of them have shot up because of this rewatch and paying more attention to stuff. Like I've said, it's like Kiritsugu and everyone else, really. It's kind of like my favorite, my least favorites, and then everyone else is in the middle. For this episode, man, I mean, Kiritsugu continues to go through more in the next episode, though. It's not the end. What more can I say at this point. I'll end up regurgitating a lot of the same stuff I just talked about. I mean, that moment at the end with Gilgamesh and Saber, you know, like it feeds into stuff that happens specifically in the Fate Stay Night route with, you know, Gilgamesh coming back just like, Saber, will you be my wife? I proposed to you once before, which I'll talk more about the connections to Fate Stay Night as we wrap out the final episode, but it's a masterclass from all parts. We even start this episode again with like my favorite fight in this whole show, which that already felt like an entirely different episode ago. And then we just have that amazing dialogue between Kiritsugu and the Grail and just the destruction of his ideology and what he gives up. Every time I show this show to people, which hasn't been a whole lot of people, but you know, whenever they finish it, I always like to ask them about this episode specifically. I mean, it's my favorite episode, but how do you not walk away from that and be like, am I doing something wrong with my life? But that's kind of this whole show. Alas, we have one final episode in this insanely long but amazing rewatch, and there will be a lot to discuss as we wrap out and close these final points in my favorite show of all time. But either way, this is my reaction to episode 24 of Fate Zero. Join me next time for episode 25, the final episode of Fate Zero, as well as everything else that'll be coming out soon. So until next time, I'm Lancer. Thanks for watching.